Today I am here with Tia, and I am so excited to chat with her because she is one of my favorite channels, and one of those channels that I just turn it on for comfort because you're very well spoken and soft spoken and just soothing to my soul. So introduce yourself.
That's a nice compliment because I totally don't think that about myself. I don't think I'm well spoken at all, and I've heard from several people that they think I'm soft spoken. So I guess I have to agree with that because it seems to be a consensus.
It's just like a comforting voice, but yeah.
Well, see, whenever I listen to my own videos, I think that is the most annoying voice ever.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone probably feels that way too, but
Yep.
yeah, so I'm Tia in all the books here on YouTube, and then it's the same username on Instagram as well. And I think on Goodreads, I'm just like Tia with books, maybe something like that.
It's linked in your YouTube.
Yeah.
So how did you get into reading? Was it a specific book or a person? What got you into reading in the first place?
So I guess it was probably my parents. They were both English teachers. So there was always books around our house all the time, because they were always teaching different books to their students.
Sure.
And my mom read out loud to us a lot. So I think that was probably a big influence. I don't remember the first book that I ever read. I know I can remember her reading Wizard of Oz out loud to us. So I guess it was just cool having that influence at my house.
What grades did they teach?
So 10th, 11th, 12th, high school. Yeah, my mom is at this really small high school, so she had multiple grades in English, regular English and advanced English. And my dad's the same, yeah.
Interesting. That is cool. So why did you start Booktube?
Well, I started watching several years ago because I was looking for new books to read, and I didn't really have any way to anyone to recommend me books. So I just typed in book recommendations or book reviews or something. And that's how I discovered Booktube. And I watched for 2 or 3 years before I finally decided to start my own channel. From the beginning, I wanted to do my own channel.
Yeah.
But I thought I was too old to do it.
Yes.
Because everyone I saw was in their 20s. And I was like, if I start my own channel, no one's going to watch this old lady talk about books.
Yep.
So I didn't do it for years until finally I was like, if I don't do it now, I'm only getting older. So I may as well just start.
True.
Because in 2 more years, I'm going to be really old.
Yeah, right. I'm just going to be older and older. And I feel like that is gradually shifting, but that's definitely, reason that it's I'm not in high school or college. And there's a lot of that.
Yeah.
So what are your favorite genres? Because that's another reason I love your channel is you read a lot. So what are your favorites?
Well, I definitely don't know if I have a specific favorite, but I like all of them. I love to read historical fiction and women's fiction and romance and fantasy and science fiction, and I like middle grade, and I do some YA sometimes, mystery and thrillers, classics.
Is there anything you won't read?
I am not into erotica. Is that a whole genre? I don't really read that, or I don't read that.
Yeah. And so with your rainbow shelves, is it hard to find what you want? Especially are those all your books, or do you do by genre, or how do you find anything?
So these behind me are my unread books.
Okay.
And then my read books are downstairs, but they're in rainbow order as well. And I just sort of know where they are. I don't know, because especially the red ones, because when I'm reading them, I get used to what color it is.
Yeah.
So it's easy to find it again. The unread ones are a little bit harder to know where stuff is.
So, do you read mostly your physical books?
Yes. Sometimes I will try to find I don't do Libby. What's the other one? Overdrive.
Okay.
On Overdrive, if they have an e-copy, then I can read the physical book during the day, and then when the lights go out, I can do the e-book in the library. Yeah.
But you also homeschool your 3 girls, don't you?
Yeah.
That's so much. I don't know how you do it. That is amazing. Have you always?
Since my oldest was in when she started 2nd grade, so she's in 8th now. So I guess it's 6 years.
Yeah. And then your younger two have just always done it that way,
Yeah, they've always been homeschooled.
which is great for COVID. I mean, you're not even worried.
Yeah, it worked out really well. We were already
Yeah, ready to go, and it wasn't a huge shift. Who are some of your favorite authors?
well, my favorite author of all time is Jane Austen. I started reading her, like I read my first Jane Austen book when I was in high school, I think like junior year.
Mhm.
And I fell in love with her back then. And, I've since read all of her stuff multiple times. Other than that, it's so hard because like my husband was asking me the other day, like, do you have a favorite contemporary author, like one that's still living? And I don't know if I do.
Really?
Like Taylor Jenkins Reid, I've read all of her things, but I didn't love them all, but
Yeah.
I don't know. There's some authors that I like to read all of their stuff, but sometimes they'll have one that I don't really love. So then they're not really a favorite. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
I feel like with today's day and age, you see contemporary authors on Twitter and Instagram so much that
Yes.
it's harder for me to put them up on a pedestal
That
than
is a
like
great
authors
point.
that have passed away.
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah.
why that is.
Because then you see like all sides of somebody, which is good, but it's also like
Yeah,
nobody's perfect.
it makes them seem more like a real person, which is
Hmm.
good. But then
Yeah.
at the same time, you're like, hey, I'm a real person. Maybe I could do this too.
Right. Right. They're
Where's
not this like perfect
yeah.
fantasy. Yeah. That's a really good point. Did you have to read any Jane Austen as like required reading in school?
The one I read was like for bonus credit because my teacher kind of like took me aside. I guess she realized that I wasn't loving all the other stuff that was assigned, and she was like, "Hey, I really think you're gonna love this book." And it was Emma by Jane Austen, and
Mhm.
she was right. I loved it, but
Oh,
there was
really?
no Jane Austen assigned in our high school that
I
I
just
remember.
wonder, like, is it possible for assigned reading to become somebody's favorite? I I mean, I don't know. Like, I feel like when it's assigned reading in school, you automatically are like, meh.
The only one, so I was assigned Jane Eyre, and I
Uh-huh.
loved that one, and Wuthering Heights. But all the other ones, I don't remember. It
Yeah.
wasn't.
Most people, I think, are like, didn't love them. So I don't know why we don't like switch things up because it's not working. But I think modern day, like current teachers are switching things up and using more modern stuff, but I don't really know.
Yeah.
So what are some of your favorite tropes? And it can be in any genre you want, but just something that like, or bookish buzzwords. You can answer either. Like something that it's like, if it's got this in it, I know I'm gonna like this.
Let's see. Ugh. So I really like time travel or like
Mhm.
books that play with time elements like the multiverse or time tricks. I don't know how to explain it. So that usually will bring me in, especially if it has like an element of romance in it as well. I kind of like the genres to be all lumped together. Like if it
Yeah,
says it's free with like time travel and a little bit of romance, and if there's a
yeah,
paranormal creature too,
yeah.
yeah, fun.
Perfect. Yeah, that's fun. Have you read The Dream Daughter by Diane Chamberlain?
I haven't.
You need
I
to.
put it on my TBR shelf, but yeah.
It's so good. And have you read the Blake Crouch one? The yellow Blake Crouch one?
Yes, yes,
That-
I have recursion.
Yes. Well, no,
Yeah.
wait. What was his first one?
Dark Matter.
Yes. Have you read that one too?
Yeah. That
Yeah.
actually wasn't his first one, but yeah, I have read
Well, the first in Booktube, I guess.
it.
I don't know. That's the one I have read. And I'm not into like sci-fi or fantasy really, but like that one was really cool, I thought, and got me thinking.
Yeah, it has the time stuff, and there was a
Mhm.
tiny bit of romance, and it was mysterious, and yeah.
Yeah. So, what do you wish there was more of in the book world? And it like you could be talking about like books, type of books, I guess, or on BookTube.
That's a really hard question.
It is.
I feel like BookTube is so big now. Like if there's
Mhm.
something that you want, that it's usually out there. Like there's someone who's read whatever book it is that you're thinking about.
Yeah.
Maybe you haven't found their video yet, but I feel
Yeah.
like they're out there.
Yeah.
My favorite videos are recommendation videos though, so I always wish there was more of those. Like
Yeah.
when I get on my feed, I'm like, let there be a recommendation video
That's
today.
funny. They just stress me out. Like, I love them too, but doing them stresses me out because I can't narrow it down. I'm like, but I know this isn't inclusive, so it stresses me out. But yeah.
I love to watch them, obviously. They're like my favorites, but I feel like I read so many different genres that it's hard to get a recommendation video of just one thing.
Yeah.
For a full video, so I haven't done them that often either.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Maybe could you do it based on trope or on buzzword or something that's less genre limiting? Maybe. I don't know. I would watch it. If you do it, I'll watch it. So what are some of your least favorite and favorite books of the year? And you can, if you don't want to ruin like best of videos, you can do last year if you want. So what are some of your favorites?
Let's see. So at the beginning of the year, I read The Sundown Motel by Simone St. James. I loved that one. Have you read that?
I have not, and I've heard nothing but good things.
Let's see. It's so hard to think back on which all were my 5 stars. More recently, like I think I told you, I read Open Book. I gave that 5 stars by Jessica Simpson. I don't know if that will make it to my top of list. I really love The Switch. I know you didn't love that one.
Yeah. Again, I'm in the minority on that one. I don't know why I didn't get it.
It was just so charming, Chloe.
And I liked the grandma story, but let's talk. I know you know about the Goodreads Choice Awards, and that it is, I would say, full-fledged, it is not a romance. Would you agree? What are your thoughts?
I mean, I guess if we're going with the definition, who is it that puts out the definition? The Romance Writers of America or something? That the romance has to be like the majority of the story, then I would say no, because it's not the majority of the story, but they both have their own romances, and it's my favorite book out of that category. Out of all the books on that Goodreads that they have going, that one was my favorite one.
Yeah. Well, and I think you brought up a good point last night in the live show of normal readers, you know, people who aren't on Booktube and Bookstagram and all this kind of stuff. Women's fiction and romance do get lumped together a lot, and they are very similar. Because I would say it's definitely women's fiction because it's the story of the grandma and the daughter and like their stories. But I mean, I can see why it happens. I just wish that Goodreads would separate women's fiction and give it its own, or put it in fiction, because the romantic element was small.
I know before I started Booktube, I had never heard that definition of romance before, even though I had read romance books and I'd read things like The Switch. In my mind, I didn't know, like, okay, well, there has to be a happily ever after, and it has to be most of the story for it to be romance. I just thought if there was a romance in there at any point, you know, then in my mind, romance.
Well, like Nicholas Sparks, I never knew that, like, he's not a romance.
Yeah. Exactly. I
read
so many of his books, and I thought they were romance, and I got made fun of for reading romance because I was reading Nicholas Sparks, but apparently they're not really romance.
Whatever. I mean, whatever. But yeah, I think the Goodreads choice definitely this year, especially, like, I really noticed that there's a lot of women's fiction, what I would call women's fiction, in there. But
I don't know if they'll ever separate it out, though. I mean, then they would have to do that kind of thing with all the other genres as well, and they would end up with like a million categories.
Yeah, and like, do people shelve things as women's fiction? Because I would assume the majority of people on Goodreads are normal readers. So, you know, I don't know. I know it's based on shelving, so I don't know. So what are some of your least favorites?
Okay. So I have a lot of least favorites. I don't know if I'll make a video though. So I did the Booktube Prize judging. I was a judge for the Booktube Prize, and a lot of those I didn't like. The Innocents by Michael Crummy had like this incestuous relationship in it, and I hate that so much. Let me think what else. I read some Sarah McLean books this year that I didn't really like either. Which I know is an unpopular opinion because a lot of people love Sarah McLean, but Yeah.
Have you read any that you do like of hers, or is she just not the author for you?
She's not the author for me, but there were a couple that were like 3 stars. But most of them I felt like were 2 stars. Oh, I feel so bad.
Yeah. Eek. So do you DNF? What's your DNF policy?
I have DNF sometimes. I'm really bad at it though, because I feel like if I own it, I paid money for it,
Yes.
then I have to.
Yes, that is where I'm at. Even though like most of my books are used, and so I pay like $5 or less, but I'm still like, I bought that. It's been taking up space on my shelf. I
I,
need to read
uh,
it.
Same with NetGalley. Like I can't DNF NetGalley. If it's from the library, then yeah, I don't feel bad DNFing. But if I've paid money for it or NetGalley's approved me, then I feel like I have to read it.
I am such a NetGalley rule follower that like it gives me a lot of anxiety if I don't get it by the publication date. I have to. And yeah, DNFing is not an option. Okay, what are you currently reading?
Well, I'm still reading the book from last night at your live show. I didn't get it finished yet, but that's can you see? The
Yep.
Trouble Toe by Jill Chavez.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Is it good?
It is good. It's really cute. She's like the owner of a doggy salon. So there's tons of pets in there, which is adorable. Yeah.
Have you read all of the Heartbreaker Bay series?
It's only the second one in the series. So I read the first. Yeah.
Okay. Tell me, how did you get into Christmas books, or do you enjoy a lot of Christmas books every year?
Gosh, I don't know. It was several years ago before I even discovered Booktube. Like I said, I love Jane Austen, and I started thinking, I wonder if there's like Regency Christmas.
Yeah.
Looked it up on Overdrive and found a whole bunch of like novellas that were Regency Christmas, and ever since then, I just try to find something to read every year.
Yeah, because we are hosting the Create Your Own Holiday Adventure, and that was your brainchild, and I'm so excited for it. Where is it? I still have my little thing right here unfilled out. I need to do that ASAP, but I can't decide which path to take.
I think I'm trying to fill in all of them.
Are you?
I have a book for all of them, and then we'll just see where it goes.
Yeah, I am trying, like, I want to, but TBRs have just been like exhausting me, and so I really want to keep it small and not make it like an obligation, but I want to fill them all in too. So I don't know. I like it feels like a puzzle. Like I like doing that.
Yeah.
So are you ready? We're gonna do a rapid fire this or that. Okay? Okay. Ebook, audiobook, paperback, or hardback?
Paperback.
Buy or borrow?
Buy. Obviously.
Or background noise. Yeah, right. Quiet or background noise?
So I'm okay with some background. I'm okay with some background noise. Like I do. Do you do those ASMR videos on YouTube? Fire crackling and stuff.
Sometimes I do, but not often.
Like raining. It's calming.
Yeah, I know. I need to. There's like a 10-hour Harry Potter one that I have done, and that I do like it. I don't know why I don't do it.
Those are good for reading. Yeah.
I think I don't do it because I would put it on like my iPad or something, and then I'm like, well, maybe I should check my iPad. Like to read, I have to be like no devices.
We have it on our TV, so
okay.
Big fireplace. Yeah,
that's a good idea. Indoor or outdoor?
Indoor.
Meet your favorite author or meet your favorite character?
Rapid fire. I guess this is so hard. Probably character.
Yeah. Well, I think like the point you brought up before, like meeting your favorite author would be like, oh, you're just a lady or a guy, like you're just a person.
Yeah. It might like destroy, if I met Jane Austen, it might destroy my idea of
yes.
hers.
Yeah. Or it might not, but you take that risk. Book to film or book to movie? Or book to movie or book to TV?
Film, I guess. TV.
Yeah.
That's too hard.
Yeah. Do you watch a lot of adaptations?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I always intend to.
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't get around to them, but yeah, I try to.
Yeah. Classics or new releases?
Classics.
No new books or no rereading?
No new books.
Really? That would be so hard. That
Give-
question's the hardest for me.
Yeah, I couldn't give up on my Jane Austen favorites.
Yeah.
That'd be hard.
Standalones or series?
Oh, that's really hard too. Series. Standalones.
Really? It is hard, but does that matter by genre?
No. I mean, it seems like everything's in a series now, like
Mm-hmm.
romance series, fantasy series, sci-fi
Yeah.
series.
Yeah. Yeah. So what's your answer?
I don't know, Chloe. I'm not good at this.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Both.
Series.
Okay. Solo or book club?
Book club. Except for I'm not in a real life one. I mean, we're talking like virtual reading with friends. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I feel like I almost need to take that one out because clearly, like, we all like to talk about books. That's why we're on social media. Like we like sharing books with others. So, yeah, I don't know. And then last, coffee or tea?
Tea. I hate coffee.
You
Yuck.
do? Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Do you drink tea all through the day, like caffeinated and not?
No, I don't drink tea that often, but if I
Really?
have to choose, it's definitely tea. I've tried to make myself like coffee, and my husband loves coffee, so he's tried to make me like it with like tons of cream and sugar. It's just so bitter. Why do you love it?
Even I don't know. It's just, and I drink it black. Like I don't like anything in it, and I love it, but not even like Starbucks drinks and stuff that are real frou-frou.
Not coffee ones. Like I'll do the caramel apple spice or hot chocolate.
Yeah. So you're just running on no caffeine ever?
Pretty much. I used to be addicted to Coke. Like I would drink Coke all the time, but I gave it up like 8 months ago or something.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah. It was hard at first, but
yeah, I gave up caffeine. Well, my mom was undergoing cancer treatments, and so she couldn't have any because she was having like all things throughout the day, and she was struggling. So I was like, okay, I'll do this with you. And then I got pregnant, and so like it's just been a cycle of no caffeine, and so now I have just a little bit. Otherwise, I drink decaf, but like my half calf cup is like gives me life. I love it, which means I should probably stop, but it's good. Well, that was it. So thank you so much for joining. This is such a fun chat. And anything else? Remind everybody what your name is on everything.
Tia and all the books.
Okay. Well, I will have her linked down below. And thank you, thank you, thank you. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.
You too. Thanks for having me, Chloe.
Bye.
Bye.